How are you? My name is Michelle Connor, and I'm your VCS for Living Environment. So today we're going to be looking at the Hall of Human Origins lab. This one's really cool. We're going to kind of take you through each part, so kind of like how to get started, where to go, the different aspects of the lab worksheet, and then how to kind of do a little bit of the lab. There are more in-depth instructional videos, but they are very in-depth, so this is kind of more of an overview. If you need more help, please feel free to use one of those. So the first thing you have to do is you actually have to get the lab worksheet. So what I would do as a teacher is I would make sure that I would just give this to my students via Google Classroom as make a copy for all. But if you're trying to get it for the first time, if you click on it, this is what opens up, and it's already kind of organized nicely for you. So the first part, this is the second part, and then the third part. And then you'd go ahead and you do File, Make a Copy, and hit OK. And now you can go ahead and you can actually edit this copy. You might want to put maybe a box in for the kids to write in. The next one's pretty nicely organized. And again, if you're doing a 1, 2, 3 and you wanted to put in like a box for them to write in, that would be helpful too. And then I always like to go ahead and make sure I get rid of the copy of when I'm done editing it. So the first part is a video and then a response to the video. Some edits I would make would be to definitely put in a text box. So insert table in a box. And this way the kids have a place to write their answers. I just feel like it's visually a little bit better for the students. They kind of know a little bit better where they're writing their information. I also like to give sentence parameters. So if you're looking for 4 to 5 sentences, 7 to 8 sentences, based on your student's writing level, you can kind of scaffold it as best that you feel fit for your class. But I really like to put in sentence parameters. So I do something like 4 to 5 sentences, and it really forces them to kind of better think about the question in order to get to an answer. So if you notice, it says watch the video. The video is embedded in the slide deck already. But one thing I would do, again, it's right here. If you click on it, it goes to a video that's on YouTube. I would honestly take the URL and bring it in here. I'd probably just take this, highlight, and remember up here is insert link. And you can just paste that link. And then this is where you'd be able to see the video. Especially if it's given on the computer, it's a digital assignment. I always like to add the hyperlinks directly into the handout itself. Part 2 is comparing the different kind of structures that they give you. And in order to do this, you're going to click on the interactive Meet the Relatives. This is already a hyperlink. Now once that opens, so if you look back at the sheet, it asks you to look at different aspects of each of the individuals that they give you. And you have to say yes, no, or somewhat. This gets a little tricky, obviously, because it's a little bit opinionated as to what yes, no, and somewhat means. So I think doing one with your students is a good way to look at it. Model one and kind of like norm the parameters. When you click on Meet the Relatives, you want to click here to begin. And they give you the different skeletons. Now this is skeletal features. If you go to the menu. You have skeletal features, whole skeletons, bone comparison, these are really cool. Let it load for a second so I can show you what you can do with these. So these you can turn all the way 360 to get a really good look. You can zoom in, you can zoom out. The bones are listed on top. And you'll see kind of them pop up. Takes a little while because it is very dense of a page. These images are really good images, so it takes a little while to load. Again, you can rotate. You might have to rotate them to the back. Zoom in, zoom out. Same thing if you go back to the menu. Again, you'll see you can do the whole skeletons, you can do front view, profile view. And just clicking next will get you back into the next set. So if you just click begin and you click next, it'll take you individually through things. Or if you wanted to use the menu, you can use the menu. So you'd go ahead and you look at their arms. Large brain, does the mouth stick out? Short, wide pelvis. And go through each one of these, and you just simply look at them, inspect the structures, and then say yes, no, or somewhat. So that's all the students are typing in is yes, no, or somewhat. So I would do kind of one of these. Pick any one, it doesn't have to be the first one, and kind of model it for the students. So finally what you're going to do is you're going to, in part 3, create a cladogram or evolutionary tree. What you'll need to do is you'll need to direct the students to the information they found from Meet the Relatives and in their chart in order to fill this out. Now this is actually organized nicely, so it breaks down kind of where the separations occur. One thing I think students might get stuck on is bipedal. Bipedal means that that the organisms only use 2 legs to walk. So where a dog uses 4 legs, a human uses 2 legs, humans are considered bipedals. That's something I know my students might get stuck on. And you'd have them label 1, 2, and 3, and then determine which species is most closely related to humans or Homo sapiens. So it's really important that they kind of understand what a cladogram is before you ask them to kind of put things in order. This will they be able to determine which are most closely related and which ones are furthest related or least related. I think it's really important to make sure that you're going through each part of the lab before you begin the lab. So you could either give it to students and maybe do 1 part per day, or go through the entire lab and ask them to do it on their own. But it's really important that you do kind of explain and maybe model when necessary each aspect of the lab before the students begin.